Hi, folks. I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So this series attention to Israel only. So today is Sunday, the 1st of June, 2025. So I'd like to say a warm hello to all the elders and the Hachamim of Israel. It's promised Israel, um, according to my prayers with God this morning, and I've asked God to end my call as a prophet. so, um, this is quite incredible. Uh, I never thought that I would be doing this. I never forget when I did a prayer, once in the morning heading to a shopping center, and I said to God, God, I want to be a prophet. I missed my chance. And God gave me an opportunity to be a prophet. And I didn't know if God was going to do this. But I took a chance and God gave me the opportunity. And it has been, amazing. And, here I am saying to God to end my call. So, I guess it's like this. But I have no choice because, my situation has changed. In 2 months from now, uh, I'm going to have to get a job to work because the government is no longer going to fund my studies anymore. At the moment, I'm studying full time. Um, I haven't enjoyed the units that I have been doing lately for spiritual reasons. Because I'm a prophet, and so and for other reasons as well. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. God is the one who has ordered my footsteps to become a prophet, and the studying, I guess, has been secondary, if you like, because that gave me the opportunity to do biblical decipherings and to prophesy. So, God has done well, getting me to study, which is good. I have learned a lot of things, but also to decipher about prophecies, to teach me about the Bible, and also to prophesy because oftentimes God gives me orders to prophesy things, to decipher things and then to prophesy them to you. So it has been the case like this, you know, along the way, many times. So I guess it's a little bit sad, but God also has given me a prophecy in that He's going to take me out and He wants me to serve Him in heaven. And I remember the night when God came to me. I just had a pizza and a little glass of wine, and I went to lie in bed, and I was really sulking. I was talking to God, and I was saying to God, I don't think I have many biblical decipherings left. And I'm sad about this because biblical decipherings is half of my ministry. And if I can no longer decipher, that's kind of like working at 50%. And I felt really sad. But lo and behold, God gave me a lot more. But I didn't know it back then, of course. And then that's when God gave me the prophecy about me. So, and in that night when God spoke those words to me, they were devouring boys. It was like when God said that to me, He was devouring me with those words. And I thought that that night I was gone. And I said to God, God, I'm not ready yet because I wasn't expecting God. And if that is an indication of how the rapture is going to happen, which is going to take people by surprise, it's going to be a snare or a trap. That's something else. People need to be very careful because when God comes, He comes all of a sudden and unexpectedly, like He came to me on that night. So, and I said to God, God, I'm not ready because I was really scared. I wasn't expecting it. But had I said, God, take me now, He probably would have. And this morning I said to God, God, I want you to end my ministry as a prophet and take me to heaven now as soon as possible. So the fact that I have given you Israel 2 weeks and God used His pattern on me to turn me around to prophesy to you Israel in my days when I was prophesying to the church and also to you Israel as well, especially with the 144,000 and so on, that God now could actually use the same pattern back on me. And you better watch out for that, Israel. And I say this seriously because it will happen that I could be here perhaps for another 2 weeks, and then God would use the same pattern and take me out. Don't forget, uh, the former prophets like Elijah, for example, when, he wanted God to take him out, and God doesn't force you into anything, and eventually God is going to take me out because I have asked him to do so. And he might use the same pattern that I used on you. So, and I said to God in my prayer to take me out as soon as possible now. So, yeah, like I said, my situation has changed. I only got until the 28th of July, so 2 months from now, I'm gonna have to get a job, because that will be my requirements. Because, yeah, like I said, the government has stopped paying for my studies. They're only gonna do it until that time, and after that it stops. So, but I'm a servant of God, Israel, and I have to put God first because I'm His servant. Whether I'm a prophet here or, of course, in heaven, I'm going to be His servant like He has promised me. So I have to put God first in what I do, and you know, uh, whatever I like to do for myself comes second. So I have to allow God to do this to take me out, because He wants me to be His servant. And sure enough, I can work, part time, and you know, of course, I have the money, and that's a noble thing to do. And but what am I going to spend the money on things of the flesh? And that to me now is all boring stuff. I'm no longer interested in those things anymore. As a matter of fact, I'm tired of those things. I'm now seeking the things of the spiritual, to serve God. So, and God, when He came to me that night, it was like God, you know, it felt like God wanted to take me right there and then, And so God wants me, He loves me that much that He wants me in heaven as soon as possible. So I'm gonna give Him the opportunity to take me out as soon as possible. So it's like this, and yeah, it's difficult saying all these things. It's difficult, and yeah, it has been, an amazing ministry with the mission of the Archangel Gabriel. I have a lot of stories to tell as a prophet, and with some of the things that I would like to tell you, I'm actually a little bit embarrassed, But I have said many stories before, and I don't know if today is the right time to, say those things. But it has been, an amazing and wonderful ministry and a big honor, a big honor. And, the first match of prophet, in almost 2,000 years, since the Apostle Paul left us, And of course, the apostles have a higher ranking than the prophets, They are the foundation, especially if you read, with the new city of Jerusalem in the book of Revelation, the 12 names of the apostles are the foundation of the new city of Jerusalem. So they have a higher ranking than the prophets. But however, my ranking is a little bit different from the former prophets in that my mission is the same as the Archangel Gabriel, pardon me, and the fact that I'm someone who is bringing Jesus out, my ranking could possibly be equal to the apostles because, and higher than the prophets because, having the mission of the Archangel Gabriel who brought Jesus out, that's special. That's special in itself. And I think that perhaps God is going to separate me, with a higher ranking away from the prophets, perhaps with the same ranking as the apostles, maybe even higher, I'm not sure, but I'm in a very unique position as a prophet and also someone with the mission of the Archangel Gabriel. That's very interesting. So I'm not sure exactly where my ranking is going to be because I'm very unique, with the role that that I'm doing right now. So it's interesting. It's interesting. So, but anyway, so yeah, I have asked God to take me out. I think this is the right thing to do as a prophet and also as a servant of God. So, I'd like to take this opportunity, elders of Israel, to thank you for listening to my videos, watching my videos, for helping me in the background, with all the things that you have, and but it's like this, the fact that I'm now gonna have to work, you know, uh, within 2 months from now, it changes everything. So, and like I said, as a servant of God now, my preoccupation is to serve God, so I ask Him to take me out. So I think this is the right thing to do. So, and of course, God knows past, present, and future. So the fact that God has given me this prophecy about me has made me think that, that God knew that one day I will come, and say this to God, But God has been very forgiving of me, very loving, and God has kept me on the straight and narrow. And whenever I got a little bit derailed, God chastises me. He keeps me on the straight and narrow. So and I know that. So I know that. So God keeps me on the straight and narrow, and He wants me to be a good person, as holy as possible, because of course I represent Him, and things like that. So I changed a lot, and I grown a lot, and serving God as a prophet has been a very fearful experience, because you constantly have God on your mind, and I'm dealing with God on a regular basis. So, for example, the recent biblical deciphering that I did about the revived Roman Empire, the false prophet, and also those prophecies in Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2, and also in Micah chapter 4, verse 1, it was the Holy Spirit who gave me all that knowledge. So, because up until then, I didn't know, I couldn't work out who the false prophet was, and God led me to those pages, in the book of Revelation, and so yeah, God gives me a lot of knowledge on things, and so that's why I did that recent video with those 4 biblical decipherings. So, but anyway, I guess elders of Israel, I completely understand that you don't want me to bring me to Israel. I'm fine with that. However, since God could possibly take me, He might give me 2 weeks and then take me out according to the pattern that He used on me. It's very possible, this very, very possible, that I'd like to suggest to you elders of Israel, if you want me to bring me to New York, to America, um, to have a farewell, dinner, with all your elders, um, if it's possible with you, uh, with your permission, if you will allow this, perhaps I would like to, I know this sounds like a bit strange saying this, but the thing is I have nothing to lose, and, I also would like to apologize to the church, because, I asked God to turn me around and prophesy to Israel only, and out of frustration, because I did so many videos to edify the church, and the church, um, sorry about the background noise, but and if we were to have some kind of farewell dinner or something like that, um, sorry, I have a good microphone here anyway. Please just ignore just traffic issues, people losing their tempers. It would be great to have a farewell, some kind of dinner with evangelicals from America, with you elders of Israel, if this is possible, so that I can say goodbye, to many of you, whomever you want to bring. Personally, I would like to shake hands with Jonathan Kahn. I think he's an amazing rabbi. Pastor Tim Henderson as well, if it was possible with you. Also, Rabbi Chason Sobel, who is an amazing rabbi. I also have a high respect for Rabbi Mendel Kessin. Rabbi Mendel Kessin, he's kind of like the equivalent of Jonathan Kahn, but to the Jewish world, But I don't mind, meeting with Jewish rabbis who are still, under the law. I respect everyone. I love the Jewish people, and I ask God actually to save Rabbi Mendel Kessin, because I said to God, we can use him for the kingdom, because he's amazing. Because I like watching his videos, and a lot of the things that he says are very similar to the New Testament, and the fact that he's still under the law and coming out with amazing commentary, some of it very close to the New Testament, is actually a good testament on how bright and intelligent he is. And I really like him. When I look at him, I look at him as like a grandfather, full of wisdom. So I like to shake hands with him, and like I said to Jesus, please save this rabbi, because he's amazing. We could use him for the kingdom. His intellect is something else. So if you elders of Israel don't want me to bring me to Israel, perhaps you can bring me to the second spiritual home of Israel, which is America, especially New York, where there's a large Jewish community. And like I said, I would like to shake hands with as many elders of Israel as possible. I'd like to meet, if possible, if according to you, elders of Israel, other rabbis that are of the Jewish faith or that are under the law. It doesn't bother me. I'd like to meet Jonathan Kahn, like I said, and yeah, Tim Henderson, Rabbi Jason Sobel, other evangelicals, like for example, like maybe Eric Stakelbeck, Chris Mitchell from CVN, and maybe other anchors from TVN and so on. Anyone that you wish to bring, to have a farewell dinner, I'm more than happy for them to be there. And we can do this, of course, in secrecy, under oath from God, because you could say to me, Israel, okay, we'll take you to New York, but of course I need to have an excuse or a reason for my brothers. You tell me what excuse you have, and I will say that to my brothers, and I will say to God, God, please allow this, this is my farewell, dinner, if the elders of Israel want to do this for me, and it'll be nice to shake hands with all of you, and I can take photos with you, sign autographs, and I can bring all my biblical decipherings, and all the things that I have that I would like to donate to the State of Israel. Things that I want you to have, elders of Israel, for the possibility of a future museum, which when I get to heaven, I'm gonna ask Jesus, if it's possible that he can ask his servants, in the Millennial Kingdom, to build a museum to honor the apostles and the prophets of God. I think that would be amazing. So I want to give you all my biblical decipherings and things like that. As a matter of fact, elders of Israel, you are welcome to come to my home anytime and take my biblical decipherings. I already told you where they are. In my main bedroom, I have a 2 drawer on the left side. There on the top drawer, you can have them. Take them whenever you like, or take as many as you want. And you can take my Bibles and things like that. I can buy other Bibles and all my things that I have, all the things that I have, on my coffee table, symbolizing God, So I did a video on that recently, You can have all the things. I don't have anything to hide, and you're probably thinking, you seem to be very easygoing and very down to earth, Why is that? Because I'm serving God and I'm serving you, Israel. And God has a prophecy about me, and I have nothing to hide. And you're more than welcome to come to my home whenever you like, But please, if I go home, I don't want to meet anyone there, because, it's, my situation has been stressful, and I'd like to meet you on the street. If you, elders of Israel, want to bring me to Israel, then send one of your followers to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, you over there, we represent the elders of Israel. We'd like to bring you to New York now. And I'm more than happy to go right there on that moment with them. Just bear in mind that I'm a pop prophet, and I don't have a suit, Can't remember the last time I wore a suit. So, I would need your help with other things. I would even go as far as to say that if you, elders of Israel, want me to bring me to New York and look after me, for whatever little time I have left, I'm more than happy to live in New York. I know that you, elders of Israel, have a lot of power. If you can help me with, paperwork and things like that, and provide with me there, like a home, just a temporary home, some kind of income and health benefits, until God takes me out, I would appreciate it very much. And you're probably saying, wow, that's a big statement. Well, it is, because it would be much better than where I'm living now. Practically, I don't have a family anymore. My brothers don't talk to me. I only have one good brother, Fernando. He's really good. He's saved. I know he's going to heaven. He helps me a lot. But the others uh, don't want to talk to me. And I can share the gospel with them and send them videos. They think that it's all weird, but I'm gonna have to send them a few videos, Robert Brica and Pastor Tim Henderson, and perhaps even Jonathan Kahn very soon. I gotta send them milk. I'm trying to get them saved. I said to Jesus many times in my prayers, please save them. Let them go out at the Rothschild Church. But I ask you, elders of Israel, if you can actually help me when I leave, that you actually recommend them videos, so they can get saved. If you could do that for me, as a favor, I would appreciate it very much. So yeah, I'm easygoing for these reasons, because I don't have anything to lose. My time now is short. I have already asked God to end my prophetic mission this morning officially, because with the last video that I did, I took an oath under God, and I have to honor that. So, and also because my situation is gonna change. The government won't fund my studies anymore, and have been very lucky that God has ordered this and allowed this, because by me studying, I have found the time to decipher, which I always did with joy, and also to prophesy. So God has ordered my footsteps really well, but that's gonna end in 2 months from now, on the July 28th. The government's gonna cut off my funding for studying at online university, and I'm gonna have to look for employment. So it'll be part-time, but like I said, you know, working for the flesh, it's gonna feel awkward, after being a prophet. That's why I said to God, take me now as soon as possible. Um, so if you're that's why want to bring me to America, that would be great. If you can help me with the paperwork. I know that you also are very powerful, have strong connections. I like to live in New York or New Jersey, where there's a strong Jewish community there. And I would really appreciate it if we could have some kind of farewell dinner. And at least uh, how can I say this? At least sort of like meet some of you, because for me it also has been very strange. Lucky that we have this technology, YouTube, and I can do videos like this and prophesy and do biblical decipher and things like that. But the prophets of the past, Paul the Apostle, he spoke to the Jewish elders, the Pharisees, and of course they gave him a difficult time. But all the prophets like Elijah, he spoke to King Ahab and so on, and at least they were heard, by the leaders of Israel. But of course I'm being heard, but I don't know who is watching. And I ask you, elders of Israel, please, like, just respect me one more time, because to me it also feels very strange. Put yourself in my situation. Imagine if you're just doing videos like this. You don't know who's watching. You don't know. Let's just say that one of you is a prophet, okay? Let's just say that Jonathan Kahn is me here, and Jonathan Kahn has done all these videos, and he doesn't know who's watching, and he can put a face to his prophetic words, and that's very strange. And at least I want to go out, having talked to some of you elders. You don't have to tell me your names, if you want to keep private, that's fine. And I'm making it very easy for you. I'm very accommodating. I'm a very simple person, and I'm not looking after any trouble. Just you tell me whatever you want to tell me, and what you don't want to tell me, you don't tell me. We can make things very easy, but at least just some kind of dinner farewell, to at least I can put faces to my prophecies, and I can have that respect because otherwise, it would have been like a strange experience, just doing videos like this and not knowing, who's actually watching my videos, like I said, the prophets of old and the apostles I spoke to the elders of Israel, and of course I'm doing the same, but I don't know who's watching. At least I got to meet people face to face. That's what I'm saying, and otherwise it's gonna seem like a really strange kind of mission, even though we got the technology here, but nonetheless, I want this to be, at least humane, you know. So if you could do this for me, that would be great. And like I said, I'm prepared to be, easygoing, accommodating, you know. Like I said, you're welcome to my home. You can come whenever you like. You can look after my home if you like. You can sit there, watch telly, and look after my biblical decipherings, because there's a lot of sensitive information there, And just because I asked God to end my call, I still have to order and obey God and remain secret. So everything that I do here, my biblical decipherings, everything, my prophecies, everything is secret because God has commanded me to be secret, because He's going to send Moses and Elijah, to deal with Israel, and those prophecies have to be fulfilled. Having said this, for me it's heartbreaking. I see, a lot of Jewish people under the law. A lot of wonderful people, very intelligent, great family people, and you know, knowing that they're gonna have to fight the tribulation period, and knowing that I'm a prophet, it's heartbreaking. Uh, I'm in a difficult position, but this is the will of God. It's like this. For me, it's very uncomfortable talking about this. Very uncomfortable. But anyway, moving along, then I'm more than happy to come to New York to have some kind of farewell dinner. And meet some of you and shake hands. Maybe I can sign autographs. Things like that. And I can give you all my biblical discussions. But like I said, you're more than welcome to take them whenever you like. I have, I have an open door policy with you elders of Israel because I have nothing to hide because I'm serving God and I'm serving you, Israel. So, and soon God is going to take me out. So I guess now be watchful because now that I have asked God this morning to end my prophetic call, I don't know how God is going to take me out. I have thought about this. Since my mission is secret, I said to God, worst case scenario, of course. Am I gonna die, as a result of this, because my mission is secret, I said to God, if I'm going to die, make it quick, if it means that I'm gonna get sick and maybe die of some kind of illness, whatever, just make it quick and don't let me suffer, because I have already been through a lot, but I said to God, please don't do this either, because my mission is like the Archangel Gabriel, and if I die, with some disease or whatever, I like to honor and glorify you, in a big way. Do something, big, perhaps if it needs to be secret, then maybe um, take me out, like you have said, spiritually in some way, just like, you God devour me on that night, or maybe send your angels, but mind you, God said he's going to do this himself. So I don't know what's going to happen, Of course, I would like to go out like Elijah, but you're probably thinking, why do you want to go out like Elijah? Because, you're probably thinking, God sent a chariot of fire to separate Elijah from Elisha. Elisha wouldn't let him go. That's why he sent a chariot, but it bothers, to me, the whirlwind and the chariot, are amazing things, and I want to go out like that, but I don't know if the God is going to do something like that. I hope He does, because that's what's in my heart, but yeah, like I said, knowing that my mission is secret, something like that will, will be on the news. So yeah, so I don't really know. I don't know. how God is going to do this, But keep an eye out on me, from now on, because that I have asked God to end my prophetic call. Um, you know, uh, all of us, including myself and you, of Israel, need to be, on the lookout as to how God is going to do this, And I guess this puts you in a difficult situation as well as of Israel, having to, if God does something big, how are you going to explain this? Please don't ask me to offer you any advice because I cannot sin, being a prophet. If God does something big, how are you going to explain this to the people of Israel, to the Jewish people, around the world? It's gonna be. I wouldn't want to be on your shoes, put it that way. Uh, as a prophet and a servant of God, telling the truth, uh, you know, what can I say? It's difficult. Difficult. I have to serve God in righteousness and in truth, so telling the truth. Then, if it's possible, then Israel, I would like to have a farewell dinner with your elders of Israel in New York. If you don't want to bring me to Israel, and I would like to have the presence of a lot of evangelicals, like Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, Rabbi Jason Sobel, Pastor Tim Henderson, and others, perhaps even Chris Mitchell from CVN. I really like him, Eric Stakelbeck, and a few others that you consider, worthy of bringing over. And even elders of the Terranda de Law, I don't mind that, I have no problem. Of course, if they know who I am, they have to keep, secret. And also even the Rebbe from, the Lubavitch organization. I do apologize, I don't know his name because a while back I tried to Google his name and I couldn't find it. So I guess that's a big secret. I understand. There's no issue there. But I'd like to shake hands with him, for moving, all this forward, with the end times and how difficult all this is. So yeah, I'd like to shake hands with all of you. We could have, a one day long, get together, sort of like a good gathering, uh, like a sort of like a party sort of thing, where we can sort of like meet and talk and have a good dinner or a good lunch or lunch and dinner, and just have a good time, like a farewell, and so that I can put faces towards my prophecies, my prophetic days, so that at least I can say to myself, okay, at least this has been now normalized, If few elders of Israel don't do this, it's not good, because it's almost inhumane, because I have been a prophet, serving God and serving you, elders of Israel, and I have given you a lot of comfort, with my prophecies and things like that, So that's all I ask, I don't want to do it here in Australia. I want to do it in America because I know that many of you elders of Israel probably have second homes in America as well because, of course, America is the second spiritual home of the Jewish people after Israel. And so many of you perhaps are based in America and also live in Israel. I don't really know. You don't have to tell me, your personal details. And if you don't want to tell me your names, that's fine. As long as we can shake hands, and say, hey, I'm one of the elders, I can't tell you my name, but we can shake hands, and things like that. I'm accommodating, I understand everything, because this is so difficult, it's not easy, all these things, I understand. And but at least, my situation can be normalized. At least I was able to put, faces towards, my days of prophesying, and this would then normalize things, because it feels a little bit unusual that, I'm doing all these videos, and no one, no one has ever come to me to tap me on my shoulder and say, hey, I've been doing this for quite a while, and say, hey, I'm one of the elders of Israel. Thank you for prophesying, which, you know, respectfully I say, that I find is, a little bit strange, that no one has ever come to me to tap me on my shoulder and say, hey, we know who you are, don't worry, keep doing what you're doing. If you need anything, give us a call, You don't have to help me with anything if you don't want to, but at least, for me to know that I'm talking to the right people, uh, you know, that I'm putting a face towards my prophetic words, that's how it should be done, respectfully, because all the prophets and apostles got to do this except me, and it's strange, I think it's very strange. And that, you know, uh, but it can be turned around if we have a good get together, at least, you know, uh, a farewell, and but if you do bring me to New York for this farewell, think not for one moment that I'm not going to tell God to take me out during that night, because I will say to God, God, this is a perfect opportunity in my farewell for you to take me out, and show a miracle to the elders of Israel that you are the God of Israel. So if you present me with this opportunity, I will also bring it to God and say, God, this is a perfect timing for you to take me out. Show them that you are the God of Israel. So I will do that uh, for sure. My words, elders of Israel, perfect opportunity, So, so yeah, it's like this, I hope that something can come out of this, And like I said, if you elders of Israel want me to bring me to New York to look after me, you know, um, in my last hour, here as a prophet, I'm more than happy. If you others can accommodate, the paperwork, accommodation, some kind of payment, because I don't have any money. I'm a very poor prophet. And, some health benefits just to, just for the time being until God takes me out. It won't be too long, because God deals with me, in a very strong way. So, just remember when I said to God, God, I want to be a prophet. I missed my chance, and that I'm saying to God to end my prophetic call. So, for God, hearing a prophet saying things like this, it's these are very powerful words unto God, and you know, I never forget when God came to me that night. He wants me badly in heaven. I thought He was gonna take me out that night. God loves me, very deeply. He wants me up there as soon as possible. So, and now that I have told Him this, I think this is also why He gave me the prophecy. He's gonna do it. Perhaps He'll wait 2 weeks, just like I have given you 2 weeks. Okay, God is going to say, perhaps to Himself, all right, my prophet here gave Israel 2 weeks. I'm gonna give him 2 weeks, and they're gonna swallow him, you know, like He did that night. So I wouldn't be surprised if God gives me the same treatment, So yeah, it will be very scary. It will be very scary, But this time, I have God to take me out. The first time I wasn't ready, but now I'm ready. Having said this, is going to be very scary, because yeah, God is, very powerful. You cannot put it into words. That night when He came to me, it was quite something, and yeah, yeah, it was quite something, So, um, it's very scary, to be in the presence of God, and now I have to serve Him for all eternity, and yeah, that's very scary in itself, I have asked God in my morning prayer, please God, give me some rest first because I'm exhausted, and I need some rest, and then slowly begin to give me, small tasks, and then as I build my confidence, you can give me greater things, just like God used me, in my early days as a prophet. He gave me small things, and eventually I built that to bigger and better things, and the calls that God gives you, they're huge, So to any of you elders of Israel, take Jonathan Kahn, for example, where I heard his story, instead, trying almost ran him over because he wouldn't come to God. Uh, everybody should come to God for their calling because it's gonna help not only God but other people as well. And I know that Jonathan Kahn knows about me because I know he's done a few videos, not mentioning my name, but saying a few things. I know he knows about me. I don't mind that. I'm sure that a lot of evangelicals have watched my videos early on, so perhaps not so much now because you as a visual have to restrict who you allow access to. All my prophetic work. So, but nonetheless, I like to meet in person. Jonathan Kahn, Tim Henderson, Rabbi Jason Sobel, if it's possible, Rabbi Mendo Kassin from he's got his own YouTube channel called Torah Thinking. He's amazing. I have asked God to save him because I said to God, we could use him for the kingdom because of his intellect. So he's incredible. And many other rabbis, I don't mind. If they're still under the law, I will shake hands with everyone, respect everyone. And I think that it will be right, Don't forget, Israel, that I'm a prophet. You haven't had one in 2,000 years, and it would be great, to normalize, to at least I can put some faces, to my prophetic words. So yeah, please, I ask you that you consider this, because if God takes me out and I have never seen a face before, of your elders, I'm gonna say to God, God, this has been amazing, but a little bit strange in that no one has tapped me on the shoulder. If you elders abuse wanna get in touch with me, find me in places like this when I go out. Of course, if you send your followers, you already know where I am anyway, so they don't bother me anymore anyway. You can send them whenever you like because I know they're looking after me, so I'm fine with them. But getting to tap me on my shoulder and say, hey, you over there, we represent the elders of Israel, we want to talk to you. I say, yeah, sure, let's talk. And if they want to bring me to New York, I'm more than happy to go there and even live there. So it'll be a big improvement. Like I said, I don't really have much of a family except for one brother. And I got nothing to lose. I already asked God to take me out. So it'll be amazing just to even hit the reset button and live somewhere else, fresh, completely new, and just feel inspired again, with whatever little time I have left. It won't be long because, uh, you know, the words of a prophet unto God are very powerful. So think of the past prophets, think of Elijah, of course Elijah had just a few more assignments to do, but and then he was taking, so um, God heeds his prophets, and God likes it when I complain to him. This is one thing that I want to mention. You're probably thinking, why do you complain to God? Because God loves my complaints because I'm his prophet. And when I complain to God, for some reason, he seems to take strong action. And so I gotten used to the idea that, okay, whatever problem I have, I'm not going to talk to God. No, I'm going to complain to God. And so God loves my complaints. He takes strong action. When I complain to God, he takes strong action. And so I learned the difference of talking to God and complaining. Complaining will bring action from God. So God loves my complaints. And I know that. And so I have complained to God to end my prophetic call. So like I said, things are changing for me, and I don't want to live for the things of the flesh anymore because I'm a prophet. So I have to think of the things of God first, and then me second. So it's like this. So that's about it, elders of Israel. I have always had, my doors open towards all of you. You know, uh, with my prophetic mentor, I was left it in the car for a long time. I said to you, I give you permission to get into my car. Just don't break anything because I'm a poor prophet and I don't have the money to fix it. Although my brother is pretty good at fixing, mechanical things. He does, the servicing on my car and everything. And You can come to my home anytime and take whatever biblical offerings you like, or even look after my place. And you have your methods. I just don't want to see anyone when I get there because it'll be a bit scary. But you can always approach me on the street. I think the best way to approach me will be like this on the street. Just get one of your followers to say, "Hi, we want to talk to you." And just make sure that say to them, "Look, we are sent by the elders of Israel," and I will ask them, "Are you sent by the elders of Israel?" And they say, "Yes." Okay, we can talk. And if the woman bring me, right now, I'll get on the car and go with them because I have nothing to lose. But then, of course, I'm gonna need new clothes. I'm pretty broke, and if you others provide, it's just no issue then. So things like this, and I know that money is not the issue. This is for camaraderie. I'm only asking you to do this for me for good camaraderie, because we are going to meet in heaven as well. So. And if you do this for me, of course, I will say to God, God, reward them at the Bema Jesus, at the Bema Judgment Seat of Christ, because they brought me to New York, and they helped me, in my days of prophesying, So that would be amazing, Being a prophet is not easy, you constantly live with the fear of God. You're engaging with God on a regular basis, and you live with this fear all the time, and you're constantly thinking about God, and it's an experience like no other, it's sort of like unnerving. Many times I used to go for walks, just to dissipate the anxiety, just to sort of like, uh, just to say to myself, how I'm doing, how can I keep doing this, I used to say to myself, how incredible that God has given me this prophecy to prophesy, this knowledge on biblical decipherings. This is scary stuff, scary stuff. So yeah, dealing with God is scary, it's scary. And like it says in the Psalm, when you serve God, you serve with fear and you rejoice in trembling. That's right, because when God, gets me to prophesy, or He gives me knowledge, or gives me order to decipher something and then to prophesy to you, I rejoice. But it's a rejoice, with fear, like yes, that was amazing, but it's God that's doing all this, and because you fear God, you rejoice in trembling, and the Psalm is true on that. So yeah, it's just incredible, like. Being a prophet, it's something else, uh, it's you cannot even put this into words, and how God has chosen me, with this mission, with the Archangel Gabriel, like it's you cannot even fathom or describe this, you're probably wondering, you have been very emotionally steady on this, I think that in a way God is sort of in the background. He stabilizes me, to do this. I'm pretty sure that in the background, He's stabilizing me because, if you lose your nerve, as a prophet, uh, which, you know, you gotta hang in there. Um, it just depends on the person, So you don't want to lose your nerve, while you're doing this. It's it's an incredible experience. It's an incredible experience. God always chooses the right person, at the right time for the right job, and I have been in constant. God has prepared me for this since my family arrived to Australia, because it was a big shock for me as a kid coming here to Australia, adjusting to the new language and everything, and then living here in this new culture. And I used to love living in Uruguay. Uh, the little time that I had there, I think I came when I was 12 and a half. I really loved it over there. I really love the culture in Uruguay. It's a really good country. And coming here was a culture shock, complete culture shock. And God prepared me. I would say from 17. When I was 17, that's when God began to prepare me for where I am today. And it took me, many decades for God to prepare me to be where I am now, to be a prophet. I have to go through a lot of trials of fire, a lot of situations to be ready for this. And there's a lot more that I can say, but I don't think that today is the right day or the right time to do a video. I like to do a video with a lot of anecdotes of my prophetic days. I have a lot of stories to tell. A lot of stories to tell. I will see, if I can find, the strength of courage to do a video, with all my stories, as a prophet, because I have a lot. And each time God got me to prophesy, there's a story behind, when I prophesied, So, yeah, it's incredible. So, yeah, I have some amazing stories, I don't know if there's some stories you are ready yet to handle, because I think there's some things I might take to heaven with me, some stories, because they require a high level of faith. And I don't know, respectfully I say this, I don't know, I'm not sure who I'm talking to, but uh, some of my stories require a high level of faith, and I'm not sure that I can say them whilst here on earth, probably in heaven, but not in here. And yeah, I guess one of the stories is that God washed my feet with gushing water spiritually, not with gushing water as in the physical water on earth, but with spiritual water, with gushing water, to teach me a lesson, to teach me that Genesis 12:3, I will bless those that bless Israel, and I will curse those that curse Israel. God taught me that lesson. And with gushing water, He washed my feet. With gushing water. So, um, but I don't know if I can tell the full story on that, and maybe a couple or a few stories I will probably have to take into heaven with me. I will probably have to, because some stories are difficult to say, and others will require a high level of faith, which I don't know, elders, who you are, and you know that these stories will require a high level of faith. So um, that's all I'm going to say, on this matter. So I don't know that I'm gonna be able to say everything. So and yeah, I have quite a few stories. But anyway, sorry for keeping this video long, 1 hour already. So yeah, thank you, elders of Israel. Uh, I have opened all doors possible to you. Um, and I always had an open door policy door with you, elders of Israel. Regarding everything, you're always welcome to my home, whenever, or my car, when I left my vehicle, the sirens there, but they're not there anymore. And like I said, I don't have anything to lose. I don't have anything to hide, because I'm serving God as a prophet and serving you, Israel, as well. So, and my time now is short. So, to finalize, be watchful now, because perhaps after 2 weeks from now, or I said to God, if at all possible, take me out tonight or right now. So it could happen at any moment. But perhaps God is going to use the same pattern again. He'll wait 2 weeks. He say, okay, you gave Israel 2 weeks, I'm going to give you 2 weeks as well. So that is also possible and probable. So if at all possible, trying to bring me to New York as soon as possible. Of course, I say this, in a very respectful manner, just to say, just to have a farewell, get together, with, the evangelicals, and also you, elders of Israel. Like I say, you don't have to tell me your names. I don't even know who you are. I'm easygoing, accommodating. I'm prepared to stay there if you can fix up the paperwork for me. And if you want to look after my security over there in New York, if you don't want to do this, by bring me to Israel, that's fine with me. And just know that now my prophecy, that God has about me now is impending and in front, and now it can happen at any moment. So just know that. So thank you, elders of Israel. God bless you all. I hope that that we can sort of. Sorry about all the noise. I hope that we can have a get together to shake hands. Take some pictures. I can do some autographs. And at least you get to meet me in real person. A prophet. Of God. You haven't had one in 2,000 years. And I can finally normalize things and say, okay, I might not know all the elders of Israel here, but amongst them, there must be, a lot of them who are in power and who watch me here, and at least you can appreciate me, and I appreciate you, that we got to meet, with one another, on friendly terms, because all of us know that I have prophesied to you quite a while. I'm sure that many of you believe on Jesus, and if not, eventually you're gonna believe on Jesus anyway, because of all the things that I have prophesied to you, and we are going to be meeting in heaven. And wouldn't it be nice to have some kind of farewell get together, just before God takes me out, and I have some camaraderie, just before I leave. I think this will be a good thing to do, elders of Israel, please, so I can finally put, a face to, my prophetic days. For me, this is very important because if God takes me out and I go to heaven, I'm gonna say to God, I never knew who watched my videos. I suspect a few like Jonathan Kahn, maybe Tim Henderson, you know, maybe some here and there, but I don't know who watched my videos. And that was a little bit strange, that experience, and I don't want to be the only prophet that never saw anyone, none of the elders of Israel, at least in the past, the apostles and the other prophets got to meet face to face with the elders of Israel, and at least I want to have this opportunity. Uh, I don't want to do it here in Australia. It has to be either, of course, Israel, if at all possible, but I know that's not going to happen, so I'm not going to push the envelope. But if not, why not do it in New York? The second spiritual home of the Jewish people, and I'm pretty sure that many of you elders of Israel travel back and forth to New York because you have big decisions to make and big prophetic decisions to make, and don't I know it? And and I get to meet Jonathan Kahn, who lives, of course, in New Jersey, and Tim Henderson, Rabbi Jason Sobel, perhaps some of the big TV anchors or owners of CVN, TVN. I watch them, and I like to shake hands with Joel Rosenberg as well. He's amazing, Joel Rosenberg, and many of you over there. It would be amazing. So yeah, you know, I please ask you all that you do this. So that I can end my calling in some kind of respectful manner. Let us respect at least my calling, and at least shake hands. And like I said, you don't have to tell me your names. Look, I'm an elder, but I can't tell you my name because, things are difficult and so on. I understand, because none of this is easy, Even my mission is secret. So, but as long as we shake hands, and, we eat something nice, we take some pictures and, I can do some autographs and things like that, that's fine, that's all I ask, So thank you, elders of Israel. God bless you all. So this is it, it's the end of my prophetic call. Having said this, if God gives me anything to prophesy between now and when He takes me out, or even more biblical knowledge, of course I'm happy to serve God. Not that, I'm gonna do as many decipherings as possible, So yeah, so it's like this. Okay. All right. Thank you, elders of Israel. God bless you all in Jesus' name. Amen.